want to surprise you guys. And it actually very much goes along with a lot of...
We didn't even know, and we're segueing in.
I know, right? Well, that's what you were talking about, though, Steven, is like these things that seem so irrelevant to us eventually become relevant. Becomes relevant in our workplace. It becomes relevant with how free we can be with our speech, how openly we can have discourse, where our eyes can go, where our eyes can't go. So we have a couple of stories. It's a little bit lighter. Our last News Corner episode was kind of heavy just with everything going on. We got lots of backlash online. Yay. So we're going to go, what?
For Hamas?
Yeah. So I don't know. Eventually, I
don't know what they're talking about. It's so because they keep conflating Hamas with Middle East, like all Middle Eastern people. They're stupid.
I did get comments like Google who's funding Israel, and they're like Hamas is funding Israel, and I'm like, what? If I Google that, am I really gonna find that Hamas is funding Israel? That sounds
that'd be wild.
Ridiculous.
You wouldn't attack a place you're funding. You would just stop funding it.
Yeah. No, it's like no.
Either
it's
that's a lie or Hamas are the biggest idiots and have no war strategy. Hey, we'll pay for the missiles that you're going to use to attack us with. Here you go.
Pretty much. Yeah. So it was like stupid comments where I was like, "This is like an entire paragraph." Maybe I'll get online and debunk it. But we're not doing that today.
Have some fun.
So we have a couple of articles. Want to get your guys' thoughts, and not just get your thoughts, but also some of the relevance you feel like. So this is an article that I thought was interesting. I'm going to make sure I'm on the right one. Yes, perfect. Okay. So this article is about an Australian woman who has, in a year, slept with 300 people.
So about one a day.
Yeah.
Is that, when you say people, is that men and women?
Correct.
Okay.
Men and women. It also claims, and we'll go through the article here in a second, but it also claims that she slept with like 5 people in one day.
Oh, I would imagine that like it's not 300 separate days. There are multiple days. There were multiple people, like orgies, essentially.
Right.
Why would you? Okay, we got.
I don't know. So I
mean, honestly, like if I was gonna go and not be religious, like why not be off the deep end? I can see it from that perspective. Like if you don't have a religious view for when it comes to like sex or anything like that, why not?
Right, but also men or women are different. Like we have different experiences, especially within sex. So like, I don't understand. She must have some serious daddy issues or something in the back. I don't understand why you would do that.
Well, one of the thoughts I actually had, which it's just a thought, I'm not making any claim, but women that are bipolar, they can like become hyper sexually active where like they don't think they're having enough sex.
Like in a manic stage?
Yes.
Okay.
But you'd have to be manic for a long time. That was the first thing I thought when I saw the article. Well, let me read it to you because there's actually a couple different components. I had to change where the article came from because my ad blocker was being stupid. Okay, so a woman who slept with 300 people in a year shares defiant one-word message for haters. All right, so after being fired from her job, getting trolled online, and having her dad find out about her OnlyFans account, you might think that Annie Knight would be feeling pretty downbeat. But the 26-year-old has been dubbed Australia's most sexually active woman, and she seems to have taken it all in stride. Oh my gosh. Annie recently hit the headlines after revealing that she'd been fired from her marketing role after just 5 days on the job, as bosses were left less than impressed with her lucrative side hustle on OnlyFans. She also previously caused a stir by sharing that she had slept with 300 men and women in a year and opened up about the cruel comments she often receives about her sex life. Following this, the Daily Mail then reported that her father, Simon Knight, had been made aware of his daughter's career selling sexual content online, having previously thought she was just working in social media. But instead of letting all this get her down, Annie had a defiant one-word response for her haters. Talking to Instagram, she shared a snap of herself at the Tart Cafe and Bakery in Gold Coast, Australia, smiling at the camera and wearing a bikini top with a white shirt over it. Annie captioned the post writing, "unfazed," seemingly signified that she's unfazed by everything that's occurred. and she's likely had good reason to be, as it's been reported that she's raking in a whopping 1.8 million Australian dollars with her side hustle each year, which amounts to around 939,000 pounds. She claims to have started doing OnlyFans in order to save money so she could buy a house, but never thought she'd be so successful and now makes more in 1 month than she ever used to in a year. Speaking about her experience in the adult subscription website, she explained that the only downside has been all the trolling. The only thing that sucks about doing OnlyFans is all the hate you get online from social media. Annie told the popular Australian radio show Kiss, the Kylie and Jackie O show. Host Kylie Sandilands asked, are they girls hating on you or are they guys? To which Annie responded, mostly men. They say horrible things and critique my looks. They say I have a massive forehead. That's their favorite comment. Okay, so I'll stop here.
Yeah, I love how she says she's unfazed, but then the hardest thing has been the trolling lately. It's just been too much. And yeah, honestly, men have the right to say horrible things and critique you because you're the one that objectified yourself. She started OnlyFans. You were literally saying, I am an object that you can pay for.
Right. Well, the thing that I thought was interesting was the fact that they brought in, like, almost like treating her like there's a discrimination happening because she's like, oh, I had this marketing job and then I lost it. And the original article that I was looking at for this was the New York Post, where they were just being like, I don't know why they're discriminating. Like, I don't understand this. And all that, good stuff. Like, that was included.
There seems to be quite a bit of debates between if you should be fired or not, if you do like OnlyFans or something on the side. Because it happens in other businesses too, like where a teacher.
Goes what the company wants to portray for its own image, especially when you sign a contract. I mean, at least in the state we live in, it's mostly at will. So I mean, the employer has a legal right to fire you for any cause. And so if what you do outside of work doesn't reflect the values you want, but that can also bring attention to the work you have. Yeah. If I was an employer, I wouldn't want that attention.
Especially in marketing. It's like, what did you expect?
Well, yeah. I mean, of course they're going to look into that stuff. And also, too, this is another thing where I'm like, okay, why are we trying? Like, this article to me and this person, along with many others, I feel like they're trying to normalize sex work.
Exactly, like, what they're doing.
That's what it feels like, where even though most women are not sleeping with 300 men, right? And women. Most women aren't doing that.
Most aren't on OnlyFans, but if you are an OnlyFans person, I would imagine your numbers are probably pretty similar. Like, if you've done that for a full year and that's your stream of income, I mean, you have to constantly. I guess there's some that kind of do solo stuff, but if you do it like with partners or with other people, then your numbers are going to be up there. Yeah,
I didn't know she was a sex worker. That honestly kind of changes my opinion then on the title. Because like when you hear 300 people in a year, I thought that was just from her own personal, like
for fun.
Just for fun. So that was like, oh my goodness. But like she's incentivized to do that. And honestly, that's probably low in her business. I can only imagine, especially in like sex work, all the other females and how many, especially that's someone spending it way longer. So yeah, it's still wild, but it's like you kind of expect it from people like her.
You do expect it, but I think it's actually interesting to put a number with it and say like, sex work, this is what it looks like. You're like, sometimes we try to hide ourselves from the reality of what it is. It's like you're sleeping with so many people, like, very quickly. Like, I don't know how that even works.
I would be curious though, like when they say people, do they actually mean different people or do they almost mean just like 300 sex in general? Because like
I think it's people. Because I looked at the
in general, because there are people I think who would do like couples, and so like they might have sex 300 times, but it's obviously with each other, or occasionally they'll bring in someone else or something.
So
poor father.
So this article and the other one about this is 300 people in a year. That doesn't mean that she hasn't had multiple encounters. I was reading another article.
If it's say if it's her boyfriend, he counts as her boyfriend and one other person, that still counts as people 300 times, right? You get what I'm saying? So like you can still word it and still be true.
I don't think that's what they're trying to say though.
Yeah.
Like I think it is legitimately. Okay, say it's 150 people and she sleeps with them twice. So like it's still insane.
I mean, either way, it's insane that you can make more money than someone who literally runs a company by just selling videos of yourself having sex.
But whose fault is that? It's ours, men. we feed into this every time.
Yeah. No, it's a problem. And that's the thing, though. We talk about there's obviously a demand for it. Like that's we sit here and we say how ridiculous it is, but you're right. Like someone wants this content. Like I'm sorry, like we have to.
It's probably the people trying to normalize sex working.
Well, I mean,
it's lonely men that are lazy and don't want to interact with the women, and so it's free. It's right there. Well, not free, but it's cheap, and like they kind of get to fantasize having a relationship with these people. It's like I can pay $10 a month or whatever it is, and you'll talk to me, say my name, give custom things towards me. It's like that's a relationship. So
I remember. So this wasn't OnlyFans. This was on Twitch.
Okay.
Which is a streaming platform for those that don't know. A lot of it is gaming, but there are, like in like real life streams and stuff. But I remember because I used to do a gaming channel for a little bit. And so I got plugged into that world. And I remember seeing a channel where it was literally like girls or a girl like in a hot tub in a bikini, like they weren't naked. But then people who did like so many subscriptions or donated so much money, she would write their name like on a part of her body. Jeez. And that's all the stream was. That's literally all it was.
Probably covered in ink from how many foolish men would spend money.
And it was just constant inflow of subscriptions and donations. And she made tons of money. And it's insane that's like a profitable endeavor.
Now, I mean, it's so broad now. Like I heard a story of someone selling bath water. Like we're disgusting and we're not holding each other accountable. Because honestly, like if we could all collectively as men just say, hey, stop feeding into this addiction, go find an actual God-loving woman, and all your sexual desires you'll eventually get, but in the right context. The whole industry would just flatline. Like she was like, the most horrible comments are from men. It's like, yeah, because that's most of your clients right there. It's oh God, it gets me so mad, these simps.
But also too, and on the woman's side of it though, there's also something that we tell women is like women have to gatekeep their own body. Mm-hmm. Like we can, if women collectively said, hey, I'm not going to have sex with you unless you commit to me. And by commit to me, I mean a covenant. That would change the game, like completely in our society of how men view women and be like, oh, having a relationship with this woman means so much more than just the sex. I gotta provide. I've gotta take care of things. I gotta be there, things of that nature. Women have a ton of power. They do. They have a ton of power in their bodies, and the feminist movement has tricked them into just giving it away.
Well, because they also have a really huge incentive, though. You got to look at it like through her eyes. It's like, you mean to tell me I only have to open my legs up 300 times, record it, and I get $1 million? And that's just her side hustle. There's some people that are in the industry like full time, and I heard one girl made like $70K a month off of just subscriptions.
Yeah, I've also heard though that the people that make good money off of OnlyFans is like 5% or 1%.
It's less than that, yeah. It's most of them make like 400.
It's like YouTube where you can get fed all these big channels and you think like, oh, everyone's YouTube famous, but in reality, it's really only like 1% of channels that, make X amount of subscribers or do X amount of money.
Imagine the emotional effect on that. If you go into it thinking like, I'm going to make a lot of money and then you only make 400. Like I can't imagine, it's like from a woman's like insecurity level. It's
doing essentially the same thing, like, and then making, if you're going to do it, you might as well ball out.
Right.
But here's the thing.
A new Lambo.
I do feel though that like there is a part of us like, oh, this is just the 1%, right? This is just the 1%. And that's true, where it's like not every woman on OnlyFans is making this much. But my fear for it though is that it normalizes, it can normalize not just sex work, but more casual sexual encounters.
Hookup culture.
Yeah, and so you might have a woman, have these young girls who, again, they're not fully formed, or their home is broken, or they're being influenced more by their peers than they are by their own parents, who say, well, if this person's sleeping with, multiple men or multiple women, what's the big deal if I sleep with, a few guys or 10 or 15 or 20, it's that downstream effect of like, wow, what they're doing is ridiculous. That must be what I'm doing really isn't that bad. And so there's our different facets for how a story like this and other women like her have an effect on culture.
Yeah.
Which is sad that she's Australian, because Australians have the coolest accents.
They're the coolest what?
Accents?
Yeah, they also can't have guns, so you can live there if you want.
No, that's true. I didn't say I wanted to go there. I was just like, I think they have a cool accent.
And like all the animals look like they can kill you.
Do you think like OnlyFans is perpetuating the hookup culture, or do you think OnlyFans is because of the hookup culture?
Ooh, that's actually a good question.
OnlyFans, I don't know the platform. Like, I don't know exactly its ins and outs and everything, but I do know that it's not like the first in its space. There's been other kind of like, I guess, streaming or webcam kind of platforms where people do the same things, and then obviously you have porn sites in general.
Right.
But so why is OnlyFans the one that blew up? Is it just because now we've hit that point that like through feminism and everything that the women feel more empowered, and so it fueled OnlyFans more? Or do you feel that OnlyFans came up and now it's fueling the hookup culture more?
Actually, I want to answer that, because I think your first initial question, you're asking if OnlyFans is because of hookup culture. I think that's a more accurate statement, because we also have statistics coming out that men are having less sex than ever. So OnlyFans, that would make sense. Why OnlyFans is blowing up, because it's not actually being with a woman. Like, it sounds horrible to say, but maybe hooking up is better than looking at someone at a web camera, It's like...
It's honestly, probably it's cheaper for a guy to subscribe to an OnlyFans than to like take a girl out to dinner,
doesn't do anything.
A movie, and like...
Yeah, that's just like one date.
The chase is gone. It's no longer having to impress her.
So you just have to do a monthly subscription, and you don't actually have sex with her, but you have like that fantasy of having sex with her, and you get all the visualizations that come along with it. That's the scary part too, is like you don't get the physical sex with her,
but like you have such a personal relationship with like a lot of these people probably think they're actually talking to these girls, but like if they're really big, there's no way they're just managing that all by themselves, but they feel like they're talking to this person is taking time out of their day to tell them how handsome they are and give them all these videos and say their name, and like I don't have any experience with this, but you because the OnlyFans models, they always go on these platforms and brag about how much they love their fans, and that's why they have to do it, is to let men keep thinking like, hey, I care about you. What we have is real.
Sounds like a politician. I care about my constituents.
It's exactly like
I do. I promise. Now give me money for campaign, please.
Yeah.
That's why I think like sometimes men are kind of stupid sometimes. It's a little stupid. It's like, why? Maybe you guys can answer, like, why wouldn't you want like a real woman? Is it just like more cowardly to like just not have to interact with a woman and just stay on my screen? I can't answer that
because I'm not there to a full degree. So anything we say would be speculation. But yeah, I would imagine because either one, they can't get something, or two, they don't want to. And three, the convenience of it. Like, it's right there. Like, anytime, like, hey, I want to get on. Up, bam, bam. Whereas if it's a physical relationship, he's like, is she in the mood?
Right.
I have to swoo her. I got to, again, take her out. More expensive. I got to put in more effort. I'm just lazy. Not in the sense of, there's laziness, and I look at it in two categories, or there's like the lazy, like deadbeat, I can't get anything, do anything. And then there's the lazy of just like, they might have money, they might have a good job or whatever, but then there's like, I don't want to put an effort for an actual girl.
I think we can kind of get into like relate to it, because I mean we were once both dating, and like I think they lose the accountability of it. So when we were dating, like at least before I found my wife, it was like anything I say and do, I could lose this person. Like there was actual physical consequences. So the chase was very real. So that can be intimidating, especially if you're a guy that doesn't have experience talking to women, or you have a lot of insecurities and self-doubt on yourself. It's very intimidating, especially like, again, we'll be honest, like you look at these OnlyFans models, they're not ugly people. So you look at these, like this person is like, you mean to tell me I can have her without losing her at all? I just have to pay for it?
That's
it portrays
a good point.
Fantasies that aren't necessarily in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Speaking of fantasies, let's get to our next topic.
Got my
which
blood
is
boiling already.
That was a good one.
Okay, so we're going to go to our next topic. We're going to talk about Victoria's Secret. You guys know what Victoria's Secret is?
She's a dude.
Actually, I wonder where that name came from. There's got to be a reason for it. I actually like
Probably something scandalous.
Probably something scandalous. But we all know that Victoria's Secret is like they're known for like their nice, not just their nice lingerie, but also like nice looking models. Right? I don't want this to be an uncomfortable conversation, but there's a reason why I'm bringing it up because I actually think it's important. So Victoria's Secret, they went through kind of like this whole woke rebrand of like all bodies are beautiful. And so like they basically changed how everything looks. So instead of having these really beautiful models, they have kind of like everyday-ish looking people.
What men don't want to look at.
Yeah, well, let me actually, I think I had a video. Oh, I don't have the video up. Hang on. I can get to the video. But yeah, there is a video that came on. I can actually show it to you real quick, kind of showing their newest campaign. So they decided they were going to bring back the Victoria's Secret fashion show. They took it away because it was just because of the body toxicity of it, because these models.
These unrealistic standards.
Some of them, well, that's okay. That's actually
really,
a very...
They are, honestly. Like,
yeah.
Because their job is to literally work out
right.
and look that way, which normal people in society don't have that much time to be able to devote to a body like that. So it is unrealistic in that sense.
Well, the people are saying, though, is like there's some, like, you can do some effort. The people who are saying they're not trying at all on their physical body.
Yeah. Yeah, so let's take a look at this. I'm actually just going to put it on mute, but we can just look at it. Promise it won't be too scandalous, don't worry.
So you're putting us in a corner here, ma'am.
I know, I'm sorry. All right, so this is the new campaign.
I mean, they have some regular looking people, like.
So some of them are wearing tank tops and jeans and like shirts and stuff like that. So that was their new situation. Okay, so that's their newest campaign. And so what happened after that is they did this whole like Victoria's Secret fashion show. I think it launched in September, and people were kind of upset about it because there's a lot of like plus size models. Like even in that video, like some of them were wearing tank tops and jeans, which has nothing to do with Victoria's Secret. It's
Well, I think Victoria's Secret has some clothes too, not just
right. But like again, when you look at their consumer
jeans.
base, they're not the people watching aren't looking at it for the jeans.
I don't know, because like they used to have like the pink shorts. I remember like in high school, girls like the
booty shorts.
Yeah, but it had like literally across the booty, it would say like pink. I think that was like a Victoria's Secret
But
brand,
if you looked in that video, I can say with 100% certainty, as a woman, they do not have jeans. And they do not have those tank tops and shirts that they're wearing in that video. Like, obviously and they don't sell those wings either.
You look for all these things.
I might have looked. No, I have not looked for.
Jumping off your roof trying to fly.
I did. I can also confirm that chickens can't fly.
What did you do?
Oh no!
So when I was younger, I knew this family that they had like an entire farm, and so what we would do, they had all these chickens, and so you chase the chickens, right? And so I was like maybe 9 or 10 years old. I was like, I really want these chickens to fly, so I chased the chicken. I got very good at chasing chickens. Took the chicken, and then I took the stairs all the way up to the very top of the barn.
Chucking them out.
took the chicken, all right, and let it fly, and it fell. It fell really. No, it was like.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and look at this article here by the New York Post, which for some reason is allowing me to not need an ad blocker. Here we go. Okay. So we have Victoria's Secret ditches prioritizing wokeness over sexiness after sales drop. So, lingerie chain Victoria's Secret is reportedly ditching its woke feminist makeover of recent years as it hasn't translated to business success. Since the brand decided to move away from its hypersexualized image, as businessofashion.com described it in a recent article, Victoria's Secret has seen a significant revenue drop. As such, it has looked to revamp itself and bring back sexiness, the outlet noted in a piece that was also published by editorial partner CNN on Tuesday. Kathleen Chen reported that the brand's efforts to promote inclusivity, which included making LGBTQ pro-women soccer player an outspoken leftist, Megan Rapinoe, as well as a transgender woman, brand spokesmodels, and getting rid of its famous angels supermodels, gained favorable reviews from online critics, but never translated into sales. According to the numbers,
listen to critics in today's environment.
According to the numbers, the lingerie's brand projected revenue for 2023 is $6.2 billion, which is 5% lower than it was last year, and even lower than 2020, when the brand's revenue was $7.5 billion. The drop in Victoria's Secret sales also followed the company's move to make its board of directors of mostly female. Okay, so there's more to the article.
Right. I immediately want to go and just say this. One, I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea to like ditch, like the concept of ditching like the over-sexualized, like super beautiful angels or whatever they're classified as is a bad idea. Like you could have kind of more bland, normal looking women to even like not in super shape, more kind of plus size, I guess you could call them, and that'd be okay. It's the biggest problem that I see here and probably why it failed so drastically is because the people they're choosing to represent are people that are just horrible people that society just does not like the soccer player. I can't remember her name.
Megan Rapinoe.
Let's actually take a look at Megan.
I can't imagine, like, men do not like her.
Nope.
And I can't imagine that women find her inspirational either, because she is a soccer player making millions of dollars complaining about how hard it is to be a woman when there's women who make $30,000 a year and suffer way much more than she does, and yet she's complaining, and she's just a narcissistic person. Like, why you don't choose people like that for your brand? Also, and that's where the problem probably came in more so than the
kind of weird though,
strategy.
because like when you look at the like, it makes sense because like it's an organization at the end of the day, they need money. That's why they're gonna go where the money speaks. But then the consumer base actually must have to be female because they're the ones purchasing it. But the reason why they purchase it, I don't want to sound sexist, but isn't it for their man? Like, it's a lingerie store meant for you as a female to look as physically attractive as possible to attract your man.
Well, so here's the thing. I think why
canceled. I'm sorry.
I agree with Steven in the fact that, like, this is where I'm torn, where I like the idea of there being like normal women. Like Aerie is a brand, it's an offshoot of American Eagle. They did like a huge campaign about like having women, you know, in bras and underwear that had no retouching done. Their bodies look normal. They just look normal. And it worked. It really worked. And again, because you have to advertise bras and underwear to women, and it worked. And I think the thing with Victoria's Secret is there is this, if there's any children in the room, maybe don't listen to this episode, but is that you kind of, when you saw the angels, if you're a woman, you're like, oh, I want to be that. Like, you imagine yourself as that, even though you're not, which is okay. That's what it is with any other type of clothes. Like when a woman sees a nice dress and they're like, oh, that and the model's obviously beautiful, right? And maybe we're not that beautiful, but we still imagine ourselves like we'll be that beautiful if we have that dress. And so when you put it on, you still feel confident, you still really like it. And so yes, it is hypersexualized, and I do agree with that for sure. Some of the stuff that these models do, like for those Victoria's Secret fashion shows, like they'll drink nothing but water, like for like 48 hours before. Like, it's crazy, and it's not realistic. It's really not. So I'm not defending Victoria's Secret, but what I'm trying to say is the marketing worked because there is a desire for women to feel good and confident. And yes, they do. Most of them have boyfriends, partners, things of that nature.
Yeah, it's like, to piggyback off that, is like, but the question is it like, do you guys get it do women get it to be more beautiful or more sexy? Because again, it's lingerie. It's not regular, like, again, sorry kids, it's not like regular, it's not a regular underwear. It's not Hanes or some other, like,
Sure.
This is meant for a specific reason, and is to look the sexiest and most appealing to your mate.
Yeah, I think it can be both, to be honest. I think it can be both.
I mean, it is a speculation, but I think it would be a mental thing to like feel good about yourself and your own body, not just for your man necessarily.
That's fair.
Yeah, it can be. I think it can be both. I think if you, for women, like if you feel good about something that you're wearing, I think most of the time the guy thinks it looks okay. It depends on what it is, but like you want him to think that it looks good too. That's why women are like, look at my dress, look at what I'm wearing, and then the guy's like, oh, it looks great, and then that's kind of it. So that's a much more PG example.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now, like, if we really want to get into it, bikinis these days are essentially lingerie. Like, literally, you have thong bikinis, so you be out in any beach nowadays, and it's the exact same thing.
Brings up the question again, though, why wear that specifically? It's not to be beautiful.
Yeah, because you want to show off your butt, and you want people staring at your butt, like, literally.
So it kind of goes back to, like, the Victoria's Secret thing. It's like, these, like, why it's so controversial is because, yes, you look at the models, but I think it's less of the model and more of the product. The reason why they have these unrealistic body standards for these models is to make the product look as appealing as possible.
That's
because if you get someone like, I don't want to bash anyone, I guess, but someone that men are be like, absolutely not, I don't want to see that. It's
like Lizzo.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, like Lizzo. Like Lizzo wearing one of those
She's
things.
morbidly obese.
It's going to be disgusting. So like you get mad at, it's like you want to get mad at Victoria's Secret for finding these models that's just so unrealistic, but they're doing that to make the product look as appealing as possible. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe, okay, I'm not a woman, but maybe women like visualize themselves looking like
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I would imagine. I mean, most women do.
But I'm saying I could see it too. Also, if you have more average-looking women in there, and if someone who's more self-aware that they are more average-looking, they can be like, oh, that still looks good on that type of body type, which is more similar to mine.
Right.
So I would get that. Or because I look at beauty versus like attractiveness as two different things. Like, because there are overweight, beautiful women, like they have beautiful faces and whatnot. And then there's actually, I mean, there is the whole, if we want to get into it, like where guys are attracted to like bigger women. Some guys are. But yeah, so it's not, I could see it from that standpoint too. It's like when they choose to go those routes, because any company too, as you innovate in a space, you want to kind of go with the culture. You want to be the first into a new market space or a new idea, a new trend. And so I could see, and I can respect the strategy again to like, let's create more average looking or plus size if we want to. But when you go overboard in it, which is what it sounds like they do, like, oh, we have to have the whole board as females, which that has nothing to do with the product or the image. Again, the spokespeople they're choosing to do are people who society just generally thinks are horrible people because they're complaining about having essentially a really good life. They're complaining about nothing, and so that's where the strategy really fell apart. And then even a plus size, I'm not saying like it would succeed. It could still fail, but I could see like, okay, that was an idea we tried. Let's revert back. But it wasn't, because that's with marketing. There are always going to be failed ideas. No, marketing is like an A/B strategy where you're constantly trying new things. Stuff fails, and then you re-examine it and try something else.
Yeah. And I think there's also I think you I don't know if it was you or Isaiah that made the point that Victoria's Secret does have a very specific goal. Like you have like Aerie. I don't know if you guys have seen Aerie or not.
Nope.
No. Okay.
You said they're similar to Victoria's Secret.
We're
not like looking for lingerie.
Oh yeah, I know about that stuff.
My G-string right now.
Well, so Aerie, like it's not like Hanes where it's like this is just practical underwear. It's like it's cute, comfortable underwear for everyday wear. We understand that with Victoria's Secret, their stuff is made for very specific reasons. And yes, they have the other stuff that is meant for just everyday wear. And I think that is also an important thing to note too, is that they moved their marketing, but they kept their products the same. And I think that can be kind of a little bit of a turnoff, so to speak. But yeah, any other thoughts on this, gentlemen?
Oh, for the video you showed, was that like they're kind of reverting back, or that was their kickoff campaign?
That was their kickoff for 2023,
which you're saying didn't go over.
Didn't go well.
So well, even in that, I'll be honest. Like most of the women, they see
average size bodies.
Yeah, and some were a little bit bigger, but not by even that much. Like there were no obese women.
Just wasn't Lizzo's in it.
Yeah, they still looked, most of them, like just generally attractive women. They weren't just like the skin tight angels. Like I didn't honestly think that was a terrible video in that sense.
I just unnecessary outrage. I just, it sounds bad, and I don't want to sound sexist, but it's like when you have to look at the why. Why do women get that? It's for a sexual reason. So obviously, they're going to get it to appeal to their mate. And when you have a board that's telling them, "Hey, don't get it for your mate, get it for you, and you can get this and this and that," then obviously it's going to affect the sales.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. And then like it's good that you're bringing it up, because you have to point out. It's like pointing out the obvious that no one wants to talk about anymore. Like even the fact you had to preface it with saying, "Oh, well, I don't want to be sexist." It's like, well, you're not. Like that's just kind of a part of the way women work.
I'm still sticking to, I think it's more so with who they chose to like be their their involvement in the campaign. What did you say it was, like a spokesman or
Megan Rapinoe,
brand ambassador or whatever she was?
Yeah, look at that face.
Yeah, like I think that's the biggest area where they went wrong, because that's the same thing. If there's a product that I use regularly and then they chose a new marketing tactic, and
Gillette.
Oh yeah.
But even like Bud Light.
Didn't Gillette go woke too?
We can go. I mean, Bud Light's another extreme concept, but like I try to think of like clothing brands. Like I don't really have what I'm loyal to per se. But
you're not much of like a shopper. I'm gonna be real honest.
No, but I just think like if there was a brand that I really liked, and then all of a sudden they chose to use someone that was just a horrible human being as like their brand ambassador, their new campaign, I would be like, okay, I'm done with the brand.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's completely fair. I think it's a combination of what you guys both said. Like I don't think it's so complex. I don't think there's like just one main reason, except for in extreme cases like Bud Light, where we knew exactly what happened.
You know their exact demographics too. They trashed.
Right.
Stupid.
Yeah, really stupid. But yeah, anything else for this, gentlemen?
Okay, this one I'm calm again. This one wasn't as infuriating as the first one.
Okay. Well, this one I am not sure exactly. This one doesn't quite fit into like the other things that we've talked about, but I recently learned last night. I was in bed scrolling way too long on YouTube Shorts. God forgive me. And I saw this video called Nothing. So it's called Meta AI, artificial intelligence. And it's this video of Kylie Jenner, or you think it's Kylie Jenner, but it's not. It's like, "Hi, I'm this AI bot named Billy," and it sounds exactly like Kylie Jenner. So I'm gonna show you guys the article.
I think that's a great plug-in for a previous episode where we reviewed the creator talking about AI.
So you have these different AI, they call them Meta's AI personas, and you can chat with them. So you have Paris Hilton, Kendall Jenner, which is Billy, and then we have Tom Brady, which is bruh. This is a TikToker, Coco. That's not actually her name. I think her last name is...
Hey, it's Izzy. He's a UFC fighter. Sorry.
Oh, I don't even know what that is. And then there's Snoop Dogg.
So, like, what you click into it, and then you
can actually talk to them.
Yes.
Do they respond in real time, or do you have to
do
certain prompts?
All right. So these are chat bots. All right, they're more than chatbots. Is what this article's saying. You get to talk to bots that can just barely hold a conversation, akin to your single worst interaction at a cocktail party. So the AI personas, which went live in beta recently, were announced by Mark Zuckerberg at Meta Connect last month. To give its AI offering a bit of a twist, Meta created chatbot characters using celebrity likeness ranging from Snoop Dogg to Kendall Jenner to Charlie D'Amelio. Oh, neat, you might think. I can talk with AI versions of celebrities. See, that's where you're wrong. Meta merely doled out millions of dollars to these famous folks to use their likeness, but the personas are actually characters who have nothing to do with celebrities. They might sound like it makes no sense, and that is because it does make no sense. So we have these chat bots, and while you guys discuss, I'm actually going to bring up a video that I can show you guys real quick. But this is what Mark Zuckerberg has been working on for a little bit.
Right. So even though it's a bust right now, I can imagine there's potentiality in the future. Like you could actually talk to these celebrities.
Well, it's kind of like Chat GTP, right? Where it's like, oh, this isn't going to go anywhere, and then now we're doing workshops. And
this is how it starts, though. Then it's the likeness of a celebrity donating the face,
dude. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Watch the next. All right. Oh,
previous episode. Yeah. Watch our review of the creator. This is how it starts.
Literally like this. That's kind of scary that you brought this up.
Okay, so I am going to...
So that's not really him?
Hang on, the audience can't see it yet.
Oh,
now
sorry.
they can see it. Okay, so let me go ahead and play this video. I won't mute this. It should play. All right, here we go. Oh, it's not going to have the sound, but it does sound like... Oh, wait, no. You know why it doesn't have sound? It's because I muted the dang tab. Okay, let's try this again.
Yeah.
Now, yeah. Let me try that. Okay. Yeah. That's Tom Brady, his voice. Paris Hilton.
That really isn't them?
No, it's not.
Dude.
It's not them. Isn't that crazy?
What's weird is she, like that AI looks weird because Kylie's had so much work.
This does. I keep
Kenner?
up
But
with
that's Kylie or Kendall?
Kendall Jenner.
Okay, that one's just funny. That's freaking scary, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is taking, look, it just takes like worship of a celebrity way too far, I think. We're already way too obsessed. Like Jordan, in our last video, we talked about the relationship of, what was that couple? The Jonas brother person and how
Joe Jonas
are
and
like
Sophie
defending.
Turner. Yeah.
And that's just on social media. And like people are already way too involved in these celebrity lives. Now they want to have AI that looks like them. This is gonna be attracted to probably more like kids and teens who idolize these people more, where adults are rationalized like this is stupid. And so it's gonna more so perpetuate that like idol culture.
Yeah.
And oftentimes idols of not good things. And then you bleed that over into this. Now they're going to follow them even more in the stupid actions they do. Like Paris Hilton's not someone you want your
right.
Your
so it kind of does relate to the
after.
other articles we were talking about too, because it goes back to like that relationship you want with that individual. So like imagine the influence. If I'm talking to Tom Brady or Bruce, whatever his name was, bruh. Sorry, bruh. But in like a kid's head, that's Tom Brady, and who knows what Tom Brady will tell them what to do, and like because they have that personal connection with them, and they feel like they're genuinely talking to them. That's a slippery slope.
Yeah, and it's just gonna. I mean, we as a society are just falling farther and farther from actual human interaction and connection. And it's just, you can just see the trend. It's not slowing down at all. We're
getting
already
worse.
losing our ability to just function in society. And I think going back to where the video first started, and I was talking about walking on eggshells and everything you do or say offends someone. And like before, I feel like if you happen to say a joke or do something that did offend someone, they could voice their opinion like, hey, I didn't like that. That offended me. And you would apologize and everyone would go about their day. And now it's, you get put on blast. You can get your career or whatever destroyed because it records. And it's like they don't they won't end until you've been prosecuted and persecuted for your one comment you made. And this is just perpetuating more and more of that just on.
That is really scary.
Also,
what is real, man?
From humans, yeah.
But also, it's another thing that I think is interesting about these types of chatbots is that in human interaction, what happens in human interaction is that we share ideas, right? That's something that happens. When you're with a chatbot that essentially tells you what you want to hear, you live in your own echo chamber. And say the government gets a hold of a technology like that and able to insert those ideas, that's really scary. That is a way of mentally isolating you while making you believe that you can have some level of relationship with someone else. That's scarier.
Yeah.
That's a really scary concept. And
well, that's why it was millions of dollars poured to these celebrities, because, you know, like that's what would bring people in versus just, you know, average Joe Schmo's face. And
right. And it goes back again, I think the common theme in this has come down to the idea of human interaction and what we've been willing to trade.
Yeah.
And so that's what I feel like a lot of these stories have in common, and also about our perception of ourselves, which a little bit talked about that with Victoria's Secret. You know, we talked about OnlyFans, this very creepy AI chatbot feature that is not doing the best. And that's what that article is about. Oh, it's not going to work. You know, like you said, give it time. It will. And so I guess we have to ask the audience what you guys think. Do you think that these quote unquote innocent things are actually going to get us into trouble later? What do you guys actually think about Victoria's Secret rebranding or trying to rebrand and go back to where they were? Do you think OnlyFans actually does have an effect on the common man? You'll have to let us know what you think. If we're wrong, if we're right. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Stephen and Isaiah. I know you peeked at
sorry.
I try to surprise them with what we talk about, and I felt like these would be kind of fun.
Yeah. No, I enjoy that more so than just news about politics, because again, my view on politics is pretty much all the same. Like, I enjoy that because this is more like culture.
Yeah.
And
I feel like Isaiah
society.
is more of my politics guy, I feel like.
Like
this is kind
more
of
sociology and just how people in general think.
You can kind of argue this is related to politics too, though.
I would
especially with the
definitely.
AI, especially because like you got to think about it. It's Mark Zuckerberg behind it.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. He is behind it.
And then start having political candidates AI likeness on there.
That's just creepy. That's super creepy.
And imagine how they're going to use AI in campaigns to smear the other. They can use their image.
It wasn't really me saying that. You can't attack me for libel.
Yeah. I mean, I would not be surprised if that happens. So
Look at this politician kicking this dog.
It can really go anywhere. That's the crazy part.
Okay, well, that is it for today's episode. Make sure that you like this. You can comment if you're on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We have funny memes, good clips, and a lot of great content coming. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, this was fun.
All right.